back to the end of another week. We're out on the north side, and I have good and bad news. So we'll just walk around and I'll let you know what's going on. Some of my grapevines that I had planted previously died. So I finally got around to setting up 2 new grapevines. And I actually have a third one. So at the moment we have one over in that spot, second one here, third one there, and a fourth one way down there. And then eventually in between these, we'll also put another grapevine. So I do have another grapevine, and I will be setting up a space kind of in here to get that planted, but haven't done that yet. Over here was a bit of bad news. I was so pleased earlier this week when I set up a little seedling area here, and my greenhouse was on the tables, but this week we had our first crazy wind. So the wind actually, despite the fact that this thing weighs like 40 pounds or like 20-ish kilograms, and it was on the table, I think the wind basically managed to create a sail from the table, and the table knocked over, and so this knocked over with it. Thankfully it didn't break, but it's a giant mess, as you can see, and I haven't gotten around to cleaning that. So maybe this week I'll get around to sorting that out again. I did plant my little salvage plant, so it's doing okay. This thing will actually get to be like 6 to 8 feet tall, which is crazy to me. That's part of why he's been isolated out here, where he can kind of grow as big as he wants. And I'll probably put some more out in this area because apparently pollinators like them. So we'll see what happens. I have a couple more of those though. So yeah, the plant alley here, the hedgehog feeder is gone because between the wind and the rain, that got completely decimated. I did start actually doing some weeding along here because I had the bright idea of harvesting some of these, like, they're called marguerites. They're some sort of like daisy. And that was before I realized that when they like it, they're kind of invasive. So from these little pots that I created, they flowered, went to seed, and now like this whole area is marguerite, and that's a marguerite. So I had a bunch of marguerites, and these are my lilies. So I'm gonna go through and try to clear out some of the marguerites because I like them, but I don't want them taking over. So I've started doing that. I've also started weeding the saffron bed down here, and you can see, look, we're actually starting to get saffron flowers. So I'll have to harvest that one. But yeah, they're early this year. Last year they didn't start flowering until November. But yeah, so I weeded the saffron, and now every day I have to come out and monitor to see what flowers are coming up. Cause like here's another one. And then I picked the stamens. So like this morning I picked the orange stamens from that one. But yeah, so we'll start harvesting our saffron, which is always fun. In the rest of the garden, the wind has really done a number on my arch here. I mean, the arch was having problems from last season. And now it's just getting worse. So I think I have to talk to Francis about potentially doing something better for that. With the wind event, we got all the corn husk pieces all over the garden. So it'll be fun to clean up. I did manage to prep and plant some more brassicas. So up in here, I have my sweet peas, but I also have some brassicas that I've put in, and I harvested some of the beans to make dilly beans, but I need to keep doing that. However, when I was in here, there was actually a big hole about there, and look. Ugh. Something chewed my irrigation hose. So that would definitely explain why this bed was having some watering issues. It wasn't getting watered. But yeah, eventually I'll get all these beans out, and I'm not actually sure what I'm going to do with them, but we shall see. I did, this is a giant lemon balm. I did, let's see, there's shallots there. I planted more shallots actually up in here, so I have to get the straw on them. And this is the lemon balm that I went ahead and just hacked down, and I've dried it for tea. So there's that. The rest of the stuff is basically just kind of the switch to fall. This is my cucamelon is going crazy. Like, it just got heavy. I tried to, the wind here is really different for me, so I'm still figuring out exactly what I can and can't do with the wind. But yeah, so we got a lot of damage with wind, and things falling over, but it is what it is. However, I got the other chicken planters set up there, so that's nice. And I went out, because we had the big wind event, I actually went out and harvested a bunch of chestnuts. So I brought a bunch of chestnuts home. I've given them their float test to get rid of the ones that floated. And I have the other ones, like, they're getting washed. So I'll do something with those. Not exactly sure what. But that's it. I don't have much else. The time changed today, so it's still early, but it's very pretty. So I will leave you with not quite the sunset, but the pretty view from my garden. And I hope you had a good one, and I will see you next week. Bye.